Meals with Marcia. Today I'm going to share a recipe with you, and it is called skillet pickled corn. I'm excited to show you this, so let's get started. All right, so I've been eating pickled corn ever since I was a little girl, and I know that people did this because they needed a way to preserve stuff. Maybe they didn't have freezer space, or they didn't have enough whatever. But if you pickle something, it's going to stay on the shelf for several years, just like if you do kraut. It basically ferments. And that's what you do with pickled corn. Now, I made some a year or so ago, and this is how I eat it when I am ready. And I'll go back while this is cooking, and I'll explain to you how I make my pickled corn. But the first thing you need is just some oil. I'm using olive oil, and I got my skillet on, and I just done enough to coat the bottom. If you can see, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. And I got this on medium-high heat. Now, this is a jar of my pickled corn. All I did was I opened this, and I put it on in my colander, and I ran water in this bottle and poured it over it just to rinse it off a little bit. And I've been letting it drain. As you can see, there's a little bit of juice right there. All right, let me see if this is ready. Yep, my oil's working. So I've got this on medium-high heat. So I'm just going to put my corn in there. Now, I want to talk about, so I've got to let this cook about 5 or 10 minutes just till it changes colors, probably about 10. But let me talk about how I pickled the corn, okay? And you may be able to get pickled corn in the store. I have never bought pickled corn in the store. I learned how to make this from my grandmother, my mamaw. I need to start saying mamaw. I don't know why I'm saying grandmother, because I never called her grandmother. But she always made pickled corn, and then sometimes she'd make pickled corn and green beans. She would mix them. Okay, I didn't like that. I just like the pickled corn. So, like I said, this is a good way to preserve a vegetable, you know, if you don't have freezer space to store it or whatever. And that was kind of the situation with them, you know, back in the day. They grew a big garden, had big families. I think there was 10 in my mama's family, and there was 11 in my papa's family. And so they canned anything they could get their hands on, and they put it up any way they could. My great-grandma Stillman used to do what they call leather breeches. Now, I don't know if you know what that is, but she would take a needle and thread, and she would string some of the older green beans up, and she would hang them on her back porch where her laundry room was. And she dried those out, and you would dry them out, and then you would just put them in a bag and put them in the freezer. And then when you was ready to eat them, you pulled them out and you put them in water, and it reconstituted. It's kind of like dehydrated peppers. She basically dried out her green beans. That was a way to preserve if she didn't have any more jars, or if they were just the last pickings. She did that all the time, and I know a lot of people that love leather breeches. But I've never made those, but I can remember as a little girl, I lived between my great-grandparents and my mom. On my mom's side of the family, my great-grandparents and my grandparents. I lived between them. So I went to my mamaw's a lot, and my papa drove us to school and all those things. But my great-grandma lived on the other side, and I used to go to her house all the time, and she always have a little bite of pinto beans cooking on the stove, or she had homemade fried pies, or she'd have an applesauce cake, and you know, and she'd have them little leather breeches out there, and she's always sewing something, or quilting. Her and her sister used to quilt a lot. So, loved going out there, and loved those memories that I have with my grandparents and my great-grandparents. I never knew my great-grandfathers, but I knew 3 of my great-grandmothers, so I was glad to be able to know them. But anyway, lots of memories. So let's get back to how you make pickled corn. All right, years ago, you could get field corn. It's very hard to find now. Most everything that people make is sweet corn. Now, you can do this with sweet corn. This is what I've done it with, because I couldn't find any field corn. But back in the day, you could get field corn, and what you did is you shucked it, silked it, washed it, and then you, what they call, blanched it or parboiled it. You put it in the boiling water for like 3 to 5 minutes, and you take it out, pour water over it to stop the cooking process, just enough to kind of what they call blanch. Well, you do that, and then you take your knife, real sharp knife, and you cut that corn off whole kernel. Then you pack it in these jars, and then you do the process just like you would do sauerkraut. And I've got a video on that if you're interested in how to can sauerkraut. It's the same method. You do, for these pints, you do a teaspoon of pickling salt and just a little touch of vinegar on the top for it not to brown, and then you fill it with water. You put the lids on. You line a box with paper towels, trash bags, and then you cover them with a towel, and you set them outside in a cool, dry place to do what they call work off, which is basically ferment. It takes like 21 to 28 days, okay? Same concept as sauerkraut that you're doing it with corn. So this is a childhood favorite of mine. It's not something I want to eat every single day because it's kind of different, but it's just it's just good if I'm just got a taste for something different every now and again. So anyway, like I said, these last few videos are going to be about summer cooking. I've done one on skillet green beans. I've done one on how to cook cream corn. You know, I just want to, that's just where I'm at right now with the summer, and makes me think of my childhood. I spent so much time with my mamaw and the aunt, my mom, and my cousins, you know, breaking beans and helping Papa chop cabbage and pick cabbage and all those things. It's just a lot of stuff that brings back memories to me. And I just want to share it. And just sometimes you just want things to be simple. And when it's hot outside, you don't want to strike up the oven, you know, you'd rather just have something small and good, or you go out there and grill you some chicken or grill you a steak and then just have you a side or something. So, and I know this is not carb friendly, this is not, you know, whatever, everybody's gluten-free, carb, low carb, and we do all of those things because we're trying to take care of our health, but sometimes you just need something simple and something good, and that's what I feel like this is for me anyway. But anyway, that's all you have to do. Just cook it about 5-10 minutes. I've talked enough. I'm not really sure. It looks like it's changed color a little bit, and it's already parboiled, so you just have to heat it up good and let it cook. Oop, there was a stray. I have to have a bite of that. So good. I'm going to get me a little spoon, just eat it right out of the skillet, I think. I'm going to taste of it, so I don't have to come back and do all that. But like I said, simple and easy sometimes, guys. And for me, if I'm on a regimen where I'm doing all these things, you know, the low carb and getting my protein intake and drinking my water, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have been on a health journey myself. But sometimes you just need simplicity. And I really feel like the years I was growing up, and especially the years my grandparents grew up, my mom grew up, it was way more simple back then. But they did a lot of work outside. They did a lot of physical activities. So didn't have to worry about sitting behind a desk all the time, and if you ate one carb, it was going to go to your waist to make your blood sugar skyrocket, because they were out moving and grooving, especially in the summer. They were canning, they were working in the, you know, tending to their livestock, working in the garden, like they were busy. So just takes me back, and I just sometimes like to talk about the simpler things in life. So here we go. Here's our pickled corn. It smells amazing. You can tell it's pickled, because when you smell it, it's pickled, and it's so good. And like I said, whoop, I'm making a mess. This is sweet corn. Back in the day, we used to always use field corn, but I just can't find it anymore. So I just got the solid yellow sweet corn. And when I can this. Oh yeah. Just a little bite, crispy bite, and you get that sour from pickled. It's so good. So good. Now, I used olive oil. Another thing, back in the day, they used lard, bacon grease, or usually lard or bacon grease, because that's what they had on hand. And for years, you know, my family always used Crisco, canola oil, Crisco, vegetable oil, and Crisco shortening. I still use Crisco shortening for my biscuits. I do still sometimes use canola oil. I haven't bought vegetable oil in a long time. But guys, just simple. This is simple. So simple. Anyway, maybe you can find some pickled corn. Maybe you can venture out and figure out how to make some. If you do, let me know in the comments. I'd like to hear your story. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Meals with Marsha. And don't forget that everything you need and how to make this is going to be in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.